What's up, this is Autark here. So the ThinkRider XXPro is a direct drive smart trainer. So your rear wheel comes off and your bike mounts directly on the trainer. And I have been riding this trainer for the past few months, putting in plenty of miles from structured workouts to all 5 stages of Zwift Unlocked that just concluded, and even a race. The XS Pro sells for $309 US, so really affordable for a direct drive trainer, and for that price it offers specs and ride quality you would usually expect from higher end trainers. So after months of use and a lot of hours in the saddle, do you get what you pay for, or does it hold up to the demands of indoor training? So let's talk about it. In the box you'll find the trainer itself, the base legs with mounting screws, a power adapter, and a standard Shimano free hub body already installed. And a cassette is not included, so you'll need to provide your own cassette. And the trainer is not compatible with the Zwift cog and virtual shifting, so just keep that in mind if you're looking to use Zwift virtual shifting. Assembling the trainer is pretty straightforward. You start by attaching the legs using the included screws. It will take you a few minutes to do. Once you are done with all of that, install your cassette and find the proper axle adapters included for your bike, so whether it's a quick release or through axle. Once it is all set up, I recommend pairing the trainer with the ThinkRider app, which you can find in the App Store. One neat little feature about the XS Pro is that it can self-power itself once you start pedaling, so technically, you do not have to keep it plugged into an outlet to ride, which is convenient if you want to take it to a race or just take it on the patio and ride your bike without having to worry about a close by power outlet. Also, there is no calibration option because the trainer does not need to be calibrated. So now that it is set up and ready to ride, let's take a closer look at the specs, because on paper, the ThinkRider XS Pro actually look really impressive. It uses a virtual flywheel with neodymium magnets, similar to the technology behind the Tax Neo, which gives it that smooth, responsive resistance without a physical flywheel with belts and all. Connectivity-wise, you've got Bluetooth FTMS and plus FEC and Wi-Fi, so it will hook up to just about any training app: Zwift, TrainerRoad, MyWhoosh, Training Peaks Virtual, no problem there. I did, however, run into a few random Wi-Fi dropouts where the trainer would suddenly disconnect. I am not sure if that was an issue with my network or the trainer itself, but I generally do not have Wi-Fi problems with other trainers. That said, Bluetooth has been rock solid. The XS Pro can also push up to 2500 watts and simulate gradients up to 25% and maintains plus minus 1% power accuracy per specs, which puts it right up with the top tier trainers. And we'll dive deeper into accuracy in a bit to see if it holds up to their accuracy claim. It misses on heart rate bridging and multiple Bluetooth connections, but overall the specs are up there with some of the best trainers out there. The frame itself is mostly made of plastic with steel feet. The whole unit weighs in at about 18 kilograms or roughly 40 pounds, so it's solid but still manageable to move around, and there is a handle to make carrying the trainer a bit easier. As far as compatibility, it supports 130 to 135 millimeter quick releases, along with the 12 by 142 and 12 by 148 through axle adapters, and it is compatible with Shimano 8 to 12 speed and SRAM 8 to 11 speed cassette. XDR and Campy options are available separately. And the ThinkRider app itself is very basic. You can use it, however, to upgrade the firmware and toggle power smoothing. And with power smoothing turned on, your power readings in erg mode will look very smooth and steady, but I usually keep that off since I prefer to see the real fluctuations. And under parameter settings, you can choose your bike model, enter your weight, and adjust the power measurement by up to plus minus 10% if you need to fine-tune accuracy with your power meter. And one other important thing that you can do in the app is enable Wi-Fi connectivity and connect the trainer to your home network if you want to use the Wi-Fi feature. The trainer rides very well. The flywheel feels really smooth and very responsive to terrain changes in Zwift. And just like other trainers with this type of flywheel, you will experience some slippage when you're putting down a lot of torque at lower speeds, like on steep simulated climbs around 10% or higher. The trainer is also very quiet. I can only hear my chain and no vibration or anything like that. Okay, so ThinkRider claims power accuracy within 1%. To test that, I've done a number of rides and compared the results against a number of different power meters. For the first ride, I compared the ThinkRider XXPro against the Magine P715 pedal-based power meter, which proven to be really good and accurate. Overall, the two lined up almost perfectly across the entire ride. And the average power was 162.4 watts on the XXPro and 162.2 watts on the Magine, so basically identical. Zooming into the highlighted section, you can see the same consistency here. Power averages were 187 watts versus 185 watts, so still within 1%, exactly what ThinkRider claims for accuracy. And for the second ride here, looking at the overall ride, both power lines stay almost identical for most of the ride, and the average power came in at 205 watts for the XXPro and 205 watts for the Magine, which is also as close as it gets here. And zooming into the last erg mode section with some light intervals here, you can see just how tight the two power meters were. 187 watts on the Magine versus 186 on the XXPro. So again, right in the 1% range. So overall, so far, the XXPro continued to perform impressively well up until now. After that, things started to drift a little bit. So I decided to add a second reference power meter, and I added the Power to Max crankbase power meter. This is the Power to Max NG model, which is a dual-sided power meter. So that alongside the Magine P715 and the ThinkRider XXPro. In this ride, this is where I started seeing a drift in measurements. The XXPro averaged about 198 watts, while both the Magine and Power to Max came in at around 191 watts. So that's roughly about 3 to 4% difference. Zooming into the highlighted 20-minute segment here, the gap becomes even clearer here. The XXPro reported 232 watts compared to the 223 and 225 watts on the other two power meters. So it's definitely outside of that 1% accuracy claim ThinkRider advertises. And here I ran another dual comparison between the ThinkRider XXPro, Power to Max NG, and the Magine P715. And across the board, the XXPro continued to measure about 3 to 4% higher. And looking at this 15-minute segment, the pattern continues. 192 watts on the XXPro versus 186 on the other two. So again, just above that 1% spec the trainer claims. Looking at this free ride section, you can see all three traces following the same pattern, but the XXPro consistently rides on top of the other two. Average power for this segment came in at 206 watts on the XXPro compared to 201 and 200 watts from Power to Max and Magine. And during this sprint, the XXPro responded well here actually, reaching peak power value of 739 watts on the XXPro, while the Power to Max recorded 728 watts, so actually not too bad here. Looking at the mean max power curve, the same trend continues. You can see the ThinkRider XXPro in blue just a touch higher across the board. So overall, the XXPro was reading about 3% higher, which for most riders works out to be around 7 to 10 watts. It's not terrible, but it is a little disappointing because if that accuracy had stayed within that 1% spec, this would have been easily a killer trainer for that price. That said, I decided to experiment with the parameter settings in the ThinkRider app to see if I could fine-tune the power a little bit here and make it match my power meter. So I set the trainer to read 3% lower. Went out for another ride and look at this. The XXPro suddenly matched the Magine P715 and power to max NG almost perfectly. If you zoom into the last hour of that ride, the average power numbers are basically identical between all three devices. Now, I do not usually recommend messing around with the calibration offset like this, and you can absolutely argue that users should not even have the ability to make these adjustments. But in this case, it actually helps. So if you already have a power meter on your bike that you trust, and you want the trainer to match it for consistency, the XX Pro gives you the ability to tweak that number. As for erg mode, the XX Pro did an excellent job. I tested it with the same erg mode workout that I usually use to test other trainers, and here with the 20 seconds on and 20 seconds off intervals, it responded quickly to each resistance change, no lag, no overshooting, just really nice, clean transitions. It also handled low cadence intervals very well. Even when I dropped down to grindy, slow cadence here, the trainer held target power without drifting, which is something a lot of trainers still struggle with. And I expected the XX Pro to actually fail here, but it did not. So well done here. Longer intervals were no problem either. It held target power consistently from start to finish, and I did not have to fight the trainer to stay on target. Overall, really happy with how it performed during structured erg mode workouts. And looking at cadence here, the ThinkRider XXPro stays very close to both the Power to Max NG and Magine P715. And if we zoom into a shorter section here, cadence alignment tightens a bit here. The XS Pro tracked within 1 or 2 RPM, averaging 87 RPM versus 88 on the Power to Max and 89 on the Magine. So overall, after a few months of riding the ThinkRider XX Pro for $309, you're getting a trainer that feels incredibly smooth, quiet, and the ride feel is right up there with far more expensive models. I also really like that it generates its own power, which gives you way more flexibility with your setup, so you're not chained to a wall outlet. There are a few quirks though to mention here. The virtual flywheel can slip a bit when you are putting down a lot of torque at lower speeds, like on steep climbs. The trainer also does not support the Zwift cog or Zwift virtual shifting, which might matter if you are already deep into Zwift ecosystem and you're looking to add virtual shifting. And you cannot miss this bright red light. Why? But my biggest hesitation is the power accuracy. The first couple of rides were spot on, but after that, the trainer settled into reading around 3% higher than my other power meters, which is outside of that 1% spec ThinkRider advertises. Might not be a big deal for you, and if you train with power and have a power meter on your bike, you can get away with this accuracy glitch by adjusting the power offset value to match your power meter. At the end of the day, for that price, it is really hard to ignore. The ThinkRider XS Pro is a decent trainer for that price. The ride feel is really good. It feels smooth and quiet. And if you are looking for the best value under $400, this is honestly one of the most impressive budget trainers I have tested. If ThinkRider can tighten up that out-of-box accuracy, this would be an absolute contender. Right now, it's still a strong option for the price and a trainer I can recommend, just with those few caveats in mind. There you have it, folks. Do not forget to give this video a thumbs up, and if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video.